Every Sunday, side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp at mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands for the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
I think the gimp's sleeping. Well, I guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
Yeah, wake up. It's Sunday afternoon. Chris is thinking furtively over there. The gimp has been woken up. The glimp has been woken up. The glamp, the tramp, everybody. You've tuned in to Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show and Kitschy Fest with your hosts Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. Chris, I'm glad to see you got out of that trunk in the corner. How's everything?
I'm just wondering which Quentin Tarantino movie that was from.
Pulp Fiction. Yes.
What's Pulp Fiction? Okay. I know it was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of the gimp for you.
Very nice, very nice. Broadcasting live here from the entertainment capital of the world, Garden City, Long Island, and the Nutmeg State, the fine upstanding Nutmeg State, where we had a small hurricane, not a hurricane, a typhoon, not a typhoon.
Tornado?
A tornado. There you go.
Okay, wow.
A Torino.
A Torino. Gran Torino. Yeah. Wow, no fooling. What was that, last night?
Yeah, it wasn't down by me, but it was up north.
Oh, wow.
In the towns up north, and not far. Like literally, I would say maybe a mile and a half away. Trees down, power outages. It was a whole big Megillah. People can't get out of their driveways. It's pandemonium, I tell you.
That's
not
crazy.
far from me. So I'm just very glad that all I had to do was pick up some sticks in the yard, throw them away, call it a day. Cars are good. Garage is good.
Good.
So we're cool here. But yeah, it was a little touch and go there, weather-wise yesterday. But now we're okay. Now I just have to bail out the back of my Explorer, and we're good.
Yeah, we had torrential rain. We just had a lot of torrential rain and some thunder and stuff, and we got past it, so that's good.
Right, and of course, you don't have to worry about any trees falling around your house because obviously you're Italian. You do not like any sort of greenery whatsoever. Take it out. Take it all out. Take all of the greenery out. We don't need that. Make it a cement. I want to see the cement. The cement on the ground. The cement. There's nothing good grow.
This is the green I want right here. I want the cash, the keys, the carrots, the lettuce, the simoleons.
You got to get rid of that in order to get the cement. That's
yes, you do. You got to get rid of a lot of it. You're right. You shell it out like crazy. So listen, today,
Yes.
we always try to keep our show upbeat and all, but we also try to be reverent at the same time. And this is
dedication kicking in. That's what that is.
It is a dedication. Yeah. Yes, this is. It's a sad day in Motormouth history for our family. Yeah, it's 2 years we lost Chassis John today.
Oh yes.
So I was going through. I went through, in the few seconds of time I had in between things I was doing. I went through a couple of little clips, and I think what I'll do is I'll play our outro today. I had John do an outro on Playing in Traffic. They used to always do your outro, and I got a pretty funny one from him. We'll use that as the outro today. But I also, in fact, want to play I just want to play a little clip. It's a minute.
Well, if it has anything to do with Chassis John, it either has something to do with welding or hero sandwiches.
Kind of both, and you're involved in it too.
I'm sorry to hear
So
that.
you know what? Let me just play this for a minute, and so when we can bow our heads in reverence to Chassis John and
Alrighty.
and remember the great man that he was, and what a funny character that he was.
He certainly was. I always love a good memorial.
I know.
Yes.
Let's go. Cue it up. Play it, John.
But you're my inspiration because my Chrysler has been messed with as well. There are things that I don't know what mechanic has worked on this car, but what butcher, I should say, worked on this car previously. But it's nothing compared to the heartache that you go through from some of the sordid stories I hear you tell. But I'll start unwrapping wires in my car, and I'm like grumbling, and then I think to myself, this is a lot better than what John is doing. This is a lot better than the torture that man is putting himself through.
Well, you see, there's the difference. You will try to work with the existing, let's say components or wiring from the factory from way back when.
Yes.
Whereas I'm the kind of guy that cuts it out and puts it in the garbage pail because there's new stuff that can be bought. In other words, originality doesn't exist in my lexicon other than the fact of the way the body actually looks.
Right.
There's the originality. I don't mess with stock. Stock stinks in my world.
Chris, if you want to follow a good advice from John, just watch what he eats for lunch, because this guy eats good. He does. He eats New York in Florida. I tell you, he eats good. Yeah, there you go. So that was, and to think that we used to get that every week and more, it's heartbreaking. It really is. So we remember Chassis John in all fondness in the best way we can. And
you know what I miss watching Playing in Traffic on Thursdays? What I always missed about Chassis John is I always say he was the marketeer of the group, because you always saw his car behind him.
Right.
And you always saw it in different stages of repair.
Right.
Like it never stayed stagnant.
No, that's that's because he had his laptop was out in the garage.
Right.
And that's where he worked. And the thing is, mostly what you were seeing wasn't his car, by the way. You were seeing this Camaro that he was building for a fellow up here.
Right, there was
Mario.
a first-gen Camaro in there as well. Yeah,
that was the big build that went on for a couple of years, and then he brought his car in after that. So you're right. Yeah, we did used to see the stuff that he had behind.
So a lot of times I wasn't really interested in what he was saying. I was more interested in what was over his shoulder.
That's honest
I was like,
of
John,
you.
just get out of the way, John. I just want to see what you're working on.
I always liked it. Come on, Screeny, be eating a Marino's Italian ice. I do that too, but I do it off air. I do it off the camera. So
yeah, it's one of those things, and I always wanted to take that further and bring my laptop and my equipment into my garage as well. My problem is I don't have a hard line running in for internet.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the wireless, but it is so painfully weak.
Yeah.
It won't. I could barely get a radio signal, meaning like a internet stream.
What about a repeater?
Garage.
A repeater that'll repeat the signal.
That's with the repeater.
Oh, okay.
This whole house is like a wireless.
You got lead walls.
A wireless sponge. It's terrible.
Oh,
it's terrible.
Geez,
I went and spent a couple $100 on. I got repeaters all over the house.
Wow.
Still, I mean, I'm looking at it now. I'm literally like 12 feet from one.
And you got one bar. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you should turn it on.
Two.
There's a button there. Yeah.
Oh, that's what you have to do. Yeah.
So
forgot about that. So yeah, I would love to bring the hardware into the garage so you could see all the pool toys and whatever I pile on top of the cars.
Right.
Because that's all I'm doing with them now.
Yeah.
But other than changing, pulling painted parts out of my tracker,
right,
and finding. Oh, speaking of which, I gotta tell you something else. Really, really, a really strange story.
Okay.
I got in the car. I told you I was so proud of myself that I was able to extract the rodent condo out of the back corner of the car.
Yeah.
I was so happy. Sprayed it with Lysol. It's sparkling clean back there now.
Mm-hmm.
I get in the car and on a hot day, and I go to hit the key, and I go, barnyard?
Again?
It's like I still smell it.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, don't tell me there's another nest in this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, now I'm going to burn it. I'm going, my neighbors must think I'm completely nuts because I'm going around the car smelling things.
Yeah.
So I got the driver's door open.
Nose.
I'm smelling the panel.
Right.
I get in the passenger seat. I'm smelling the dash. It's like I get in the back. I'm smelling everything.
Geez.
I'm like, my neighbors must think I've lost my mind. So the only place I smell it is in the driver's seat.
Oh,
wow. The only place. I'm like, what is this? This is making me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I grab a hold of the seatbelt
Mm-hmm.
and I roll the seatbelt out and I smell it.
Oh.
It stinks.
They went into their tractor?
At that point I had no clue. I'm like, I'm ripping this thing apart. So I roll the seat forward. I pop the two plastic rocker panels off the bottoms of both doors on that side, and then I take that center piece, that plastic piece off. I expect to find another nest in there. It stinks down there, and you know what it was? Somebody must have done sissy on my seatbelt because the whole seatbelt stunk, but nothing else.
Well, I was going to say this. See, I would look at the top because when it retracts, well, no, sometimes just a pivot up on top. You're right. Okay, depends on the car. Yeah, look where the retractor is, and you'll find, wow.
Yeah,
you just can't catch a break. Yeah,
huh?
You just can't catch a break with this thing.
No, this thing is like, it's just, and now mind you, I've owned this thing for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've never had a mouse in the garage. Like the Chrysler doesn't smell, and it's parked right next to it. Either the mice are going, stay away from the big green thing. We're not, nothing good can come from that.
Right.
And they end up in the little Chinese car. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Well, maybe the lady was on something when she sold it. Get rid of this thing.
I don't know whether I bought this thing with the barnyard in it. I have no clue. So I was able to pull the seatbelt. Just pulled it as far as it can go, and what I did was I kind of like twisted it and bolted it to where it was, and I started scrubbing the heck out of it with bathroom cleaner,
anything,
baby shampoo and Pine Sol. I just went all out.
Sure. Not a blame you.
Scrubbing the heck out of this thing, so it's finally clean and it's all put back together again, and hopefully happier smelling days are yet to come.
Well, I'll say this: if you got mice or hot rats, hey, Rob did do something good today. He played like a nice block of Frank Zappa in the 10 o'clock hour. If you want to go back on the show, you listen to his podcast, you can hear some stuff that was not commercial Frank Zappa, which is my favorite, and I know Vince's too.
I kind of chimed in on the Aerosmith block. And I'm thinking, usually when Rob plays more than 3 songs from the same artist, someone died.
Yeah, right.
It's usually how Rob works.
I know.
If I hear three Van Morrison songs in a row, I'm going right for Wikipedia. I'm going, is he dead?
No. So if you want to tell us your thoughts, give us a call, 516-572-7440.
Yes.
Social media, Motormouth Radio. We're Motormouth Radio on X. It's real_Motormouth Radio on Instagram. Motormouth Radio on Faccia Bruta Facebook. And, of course, on YouTube, you would look for real at real_Motormouth Video. And you can find our videos, like from this show. But
if you feel like doing something with your thumbs, you can text us at 203-670-4127. That's always a good way to get a hold of us.
So... I don't know if I covered it last week. I don't remember. It's like a 2-week-old story now, and I'm really
lucky if I know who you are.
I know, and I haven't really elaborated on it. I have more work to do, and I haven't done it. But I did cross a milestone in my Pontiac, where now I do have air conditioning that works.
No way!
Yes, our good friend Bill Carberry lent me the tool that I needed. Brian kept telling me he was going to send the tool up to me, but there were 3 dies. I didn't want to have them, that was going to be expensive. I don't want to have to...
to extract the system once it was put together?
No. I posted this. You should have seen the post, didn't you?
I'm looking right now.
I didn't do it just this day. I did it last week. There was... still looking on the pressure lines... You have to put a metal end, the hose goes into a metal end, and then a die clamps them down and makes like it's called a not a dimple die. It's a beadlock die, and what it does is it crimps the metal onto the hose so that it can't come apart, and that's what I had done. So let me go to the phones. We got a call.
Oh yes, I'm looking at it now. I'm also looking at Kevin's GTO. It looks great.
Yeah, let's go to the phones. We'll say hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, it's Pizza Ron. How's it going?
What's up, Ron?
Pizza Ron.
Hey,
Get far, blah.
Hey, last week you ran across a guy with a Studebaker Daytona.
Yes.
And you said it was made of parts with unobtainium.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, there's one sitting up in a junkyard up here. I noticed it the other day just walking around. It's either a 64 or a 65. Got all the trim, the bumpers, everything.
Yeah, this one's a 65. And the reason I said that is because this car was totally intact. And I said to him, you're lucky, because if you needed this trim, that trim, this piece over here, you'd never find it. And I do believe that's the case. But
if he's looking for parts, it's can I say the name of the place?
Yeah, why not? Sure. Yeah,
why not?
Okay, so it's Rubicon Recycling in Rome, New York. And it's a complete car. I mean, if somebody wanted a project, it's a good project car, but it's what you were talking about.
Very good. Very good.
Very cool.
So just pass it on to your buddy there, and take a trip up to Central New York. I wouldn't dawdle around because they don't keep cars long there. They'll squish it.
Yeah. Okay, very good. We'll look into that, Ron. Thanks for the tip. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
All right.
Very cool, Ron. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, bye. Very good. There we go.
Cool. On the job there. Nice.
People helping people. Well, those cars are a bit of an oddball. And, I want to ask you, because I think I'm very wrong on this, but when I saw the car rolling in, I thought it was a Rambler.
Right.
Because it kind of has that look, but they said, no, it's a Studebaker. And then I wondered, wow, were Rambler and Studebaker ever associated any way, which way, shape, or form? And I told this guy this, and he says, I don't know. I said, you know what? My co-host will know. I said, because he knows that stuff.
The answer to your question was almost.
Okay, how'd that happen? How was that?
Well, back in the early 50s, Hudson and Nash joined forces.
And that's when Crosby and Stills came in with them later.
Yes,
and
exactly.
they did Four-Way Street, right? Okay, good. Yeah,
and they made hit after hit.
They were great. I know, very good. Went to Woodstock, the whole thing. Yeah,
never got a chance to see them live, but Hudson and Nash joined, and they created AMC. So what they were going to do was they were going to bring in Studebaker and Packard to make like a big four to compete against GM, Ford, and Chrysler.
Okay.
Well, that deal fell through, and what they ended up with was two separate companies. So there was AMC, which was Hudson and Nash, and then there was basically Studebaker Packard, and that was around 1954-55. And then if we all know our history, Studebaker Packard. Well, Packard passed away in 58, and Studebaker didn't last any longer until around 66.
Okay.
And then AMC obviously went with who was it? George Romney. George Romney was the one. George.
Sure, was it
Romney.
Mitt Romney?
No, it was father of.
Oh, really? No, yes. So that's where the Rambler thing comes in from AMC.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Actually, they took some of the Hudson styling cues that they were going to make a 58 Hudson out of it, and they made the Rambler out of that. AMC was. I'm fascinated with the company because they did everything on the shoestring.
This car had some cool styling cues. I mean, it looks very pedestrian. It's just like it kind of looks like a box Nova, for people who don't know. Which in itself you say, but if you look at it, the trim was really cool. The lighting was cool, and he showed me something. He says the directional lever was a metal stalk. But then, most directional levers have a little plastic piece at the end, a little ferrule.
Right.
This had something that was shaped like an almond, and it was white. And he said, that's white bone. And he said the original steering wheel is made out of the same material. And I don't know if he said he had the steering wheel or not. I said, wow, that thing must be worth a fortune. That's,
to those that need one.
Yeah, sure.
But looking at the car, because I'm looking at it now on Real_Motormouth Radio on Instagram. I'm looking at it right now. And yeah, that it has the deluxe Daytona trim on it because there's a broadband of, what would you say, aluminum? I guess it is.
We were debating with what was aluminum, what was stainless, what was pot metal, and
I tell you, I just like to say tin because that's
tin.
really.
And I think a lot of it was stainless, believe it or not.
Probably was, but it runs from the front of the car all the way to the back of the car.
Right.
And yeah, just to find those pieces, it would be crazy. But the Daytona was the upscale model for the Lark.
So now I have to say to guys like, Stan from the Corvette Society and Tony from the Corvette Society, who I was talking to, and when I talked to our buddy Bobby from the Olds Club and all these guys, and I tell them, you want to know about that stuff? Ask Chris. Guys, here was your do-it-yourself, on the spot, impromptu, non-rehearsed test, and Chris passed it with flying colors, as I knew he would, because that's just what he does. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, I made the crimps on the lines, which were very easy to do.
I was looking at them before you we switched over to Studebakers. Yes, I was looking at them on real_Motormouth Radio with Kevin's GTO. And
goes to show you, if you have the right tool and you use it correctly, you can get a professional result.
Looks good.
So, yeah. And then I went over to this Carlos's shop. Guy used to work for Bill, and he evacuated the system, because you have to do that, suck it down, and then he charged it, and it's working. The problem I have now is my hoses under the dash are all going for cock. They're all going the wrong way. And I know why. It was my fault when I first put them in. They had a plastic box that has the vent ports coming off of it, and you would buy one if you had a car that did not have AC from the factory, because then it would only feed the defroster ducts and then whatever ducts you had installed under the dash.
Okay.
But I had gotten a upper register where the heating controls are that had a vent in it from a GTO that had AC. So I wanted a hose to go up there. Actually, there's two hoses had to go up there. And then I was still playing around with deciding to put the eyeballs in the dash, which I hadn't done yet. So they sold a second piece that had more hoses coming off of it to accommodate all of those. I had that one in first, then I took it out, put the first one back. But still, even with that one, with the less hoses, all you see is black hoses under the dash. I don't know how I'm going to sort this out. It's going to be I think what I'm just going to say is, hey, you know what? I'm getting cold air out of places. I never had it before. I'm going to be happy. And
you're done.
Until I can slowly maybe, get some, redirect these things.
It'll just be the dash getting cold. That's it. Put your hands up against the dash. That's it.
It goes to show you the way you should do things is not the way I did it. Decide what you want to do from the beginning when the car is apart, and do it when the car is apart, when you have access to everything, not when you have to go back in. So, me bad. What can I tell you?
So now which vents are functioning?
They're all functioning, but they're not all functioning correctly. Like when I put the dash vent on, one of the defroster vents spits cold air out. So all right, so keep the windshield cold. What the heck? And when I put it to defroster, the other one doesn't send. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a little weird. What else is weird is this lights flashing. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go back to the phones and say hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hello, Ray. Hello, Chris.
Hello, John.
Sir John, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, but Ray, you were reminding me when you said, yeah, I should have done it when it was all apart. One of my favorite sayings is, I'm lazy. I like to do it right the first time.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's one of those things, John. I do the same thing. I take things apart and put things back together, like almost in stages. When I did the carpet on the Chrysler, I had the seat out at least 3 or 4 times. The seat out, carpet in, and then ran it all, and then realized, the foam was not thick enough. Took the seat out, pulled the carpet out, re-foamed, re-insulated the bottom, put everything back together. So I work with Ray hand in hand in that way as well. I don't plan very well. What is it? You cut once and cuss twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. But to go back to what my dad taught me, time is money.
Yeah. He's right.
Sometimes it's cheaper to pay the price up front for whatever you need while you got it apart and put in.
You know, and then I'm a big fan of modifying. Like, there's a site on YouTube that Kevin and I watch called Maple Motors. They're down in Tennessee, and they move a lot of muscle cars. I mean, anything from Chevelles to, you know, all the Mopars and Vets and the whole thing. And these cars are previously owned, you know, and they move them out fast. So the guy who does the video, he does this impromptu thing with the viewers. All right, let's take bets. The directional's going to work, the heater's going to work, but the big one is, will the horn work? And I tell you, 8 or 9 out of 10 times the horn does not work on these cars. And
those old horn rings were very brittle as they aged.
Yeah, but these are cars with new steering wheels and, you know, and new columns. Even you see an I Did It column. So it was funny. The horn in my car, my Pontiac, worked. But when I changed, it just so happened I did two things at the same time, which now all bets are off. I was going to put my new steering wheel on, so I removed it. But at the same time, I wanted to change the upper column bearing, which also encompasses the directional switch, which is what I wanted to change because it wouldn't cancel in one side. Goes down the column. So I did all that, and now and of course the horn wires in it. The horn didn't work. I'm like, oh. So I picked Kevin up that night. We went to a cruise, and I said, well, I joined the Maple Motors staff. Look, nothing on the horn. So it was bugging me, and I looked at it a couple times and then forgot about it. And every time I drive the car, I'd be, damn. Well, the other day I said, that's it. I said, today I'm going to play with this. So verified the horn didn't work. So I went out to the relay, which you say, you know, that thing lasts forever. And I hooked up I disconnected the wires and hooked up my test. I verified I had 12 volts coming in. In my car, comes in from the voltage regulator feed. So, okay, had 12 volts. Now, there's only 2 more terminals on the regulator. One is from the column, from the horn button, which is a ground. It grounds the relay to make the horns go off because there's already positive present. And the other one is the wire that actually goes to the horns. So I said, okay, I'll check the horns last. Let me check my feed, which I suspected would be bad because I didn't have a horn and I had one before. So I took my test light and I reversed it. So I put the grounded end of the test light on the plug and I put the positive part in the positive, the pointy part in the positive battery cable. And then when I pushed the button, if I had ground, the light would light.
Light would light up.
And it did. It was like, boop, 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 and it lit. I was like, wow. I said, it works. I said, the wiring is right. I said, it's that freaking relay. It's the relay that was bad. And it just went bad all by itself without me doing anything. Again, I never suspected it. Why? Because I didn't touch it. It wasn't in play. So got a relay this week, but it's kind of low it's by the hinge, by the hood hinge. And I said, you know what? I've played with this thing too much. I said, I'm moving it. So I literally moved it up right next to the wiper motor because there was enough room in the harness, drilled 2 new holes, put 2 zip screws in. Now I'll never have to touch it again.
You'll never have to touch it again.
Never. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And right, you really didn't need to replace the signal switch because, you know, we're getting to an age now. You can drive for 20 miles with the signals on.
I know. And I don't hear it. Mine doesn't go. I don't hear it clicking either. I don't hear it. I don't hear it audibly.
You want something scary? I bought the Vet last year, and I was driving. I got on the highway, and I signaled to pull into the highway, and I didn't turn the signal light off. Well,
right.
Oh my God! The alarm that went off.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? And I look down and I see the signal lights on. It's
Chevy
message on the dashboard, and I'm like, they should have that in every car.
You know,
I drive behind people and go, yeah, at some point they're going to make a left.
All right, since the 90s, my Impala has that. If the directional is left on for 3 minutes, which is a long time, 3 minutes, it starts a chime. And then the chime starts getting louder. And I had to do it just to see that it worked. Guys were saying that, and damn, it does. And in the beginning, you just say, what's that weird chime noise? Is it in the radio? You know. But as it gets louder, it's like your alarm clock, and you're like, uh-oh. You know, then it's like, okay, what happened? Is it a bomb? You know, There's still nothing to tell you that the directionals are flashing. But
in the vet it told me that it was on, but oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know because it's a convertible that they have it at an extra loud volume so you hear it.
Right.
Wow, that was an eye-opener.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know if other manufacturers did it. I know Chevy did because, like I said, my Impala will do that also.
Everybody should.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever.
Hey, Chris, do yourself a favor. Go out on the web and look up outdoor wireless extenders.
Outdoor wireless extenders. You sure he's not going to get some weird site that only adults should go to? I don't know.
That's possible, but if you do Wi-Fi in front of it, you should be safe.
All right, good.
So if I see something...
Yeah, I made the mistake of doing a project with my son many years ago on the web, back in its infancy, and he had a project on snakes, and I looked up boas.
You looked up who?
Because they came back.
Wait. What was it that you looked up?
I'm covering the screen up.
What was it that you looked up? I missed that word.
Well, he was doing a thing on snakes.
Got that.
Boa constrictors.
Boas, yeah.
I did a search for boas.
Oh. Big Jim Slade.
Well, let's put it this way, John. One day I was at work and I searched
we can't look at this right now. That'll look at it later.
What did you look at, Chris?
I looked at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You get all the rackets and then...
Don't want to do that.
No. All right, well, with that, listen, it's the bottom of the hour. We need to take a break, and we really need to right now.
I gotcha. Chris, look up outdoor Wi-Fi extenders. Yeah, once
I will.
You go, wireless in the garage, you're going to...
And I'll make sure not to just type in extenders.
Right. Good idea. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Day, guys.
All right, so long. All right, very good. So, like I said, this is the bottom of the hour, and I must report to you that today the WHPC weather is powered by Does Bagels with locations in Garden City Park. I wish that was on one line. Freeport, Levittown, and now open on 7th Street in Garden City. Today's forecast, by the way, is kind of cruddy. Very cloudy with thunderstorms developing this afternoon. Could be any minute. I don't see them out the weather window right now, though. High of 82. It's still very muggy and humid. And tonight, cloudy skies becoming mostly clear after midnight, low 72. Connecticut. Don't go to Connecticut. They have tornadoes and things, so stay away from there.
Let me tell you. And we have some rain on our way around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Not as bad as yesterday, but
right.
Rain nonetheless.
So there's something else I want to mention here. The WHPC app has your future dinner plans all set, which is cool.
I thought it was going to predict my future. You're going to be listening to Motormouth Radio.
It will predict
on the show.
You're going to eat dinner like tonight. So if
you're going to be hungry.
If you download the free WHPC app and click the Win Stuff button to enter to win $50 in gift cards to Uncle Bacala, Italian seafood, and more in Garden City Park. And I will tell you, without prejudice or any kind of paid endorsement, I've been there many times. This place is one of my go-to restaurants. It is phenomenal.
You wear your strapped T-shirt and your...
I'm strapped, all right. Yes, that's right.
Your suspenders.
Right.
You're walking with the fedora.
I do have several of those. You know that.
Yes, I do.
So if you do download the app and check it out, good luck from the voice of Nassau Community College and the free WHPC app. Do we have the Apper Group of the Honor of the Day? Whatever the heck it is.
That thing we do at the bottom of the hour. Yes, we do. And you could also, remember, you got thumbs, you could text us 203-670-4127. And also, when we get back from the break, I want to talk about the magic that can happen when you simply change a car battery. But right now, we have the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour.
Okay.
And this is a long one, so sit back. If you've driven your family crazy trying to find the right parking spot in the parking lot to park the car, this is something that my wife had asked me to actually say. Do you have certain parameters for parking the vehicle safely and securely? Mm-hmm. Do you favor certain parking lot locations, like all the way at the end? Do you pull into a spot and then evaluate where you are in relation to the other cars in the lot? Do you judge the distance of the car on either side of you to quickly evaluate if there is sufficient room to open all doors? Are you aware of the individuals riding with you in the car and how versed they are in parking lot door dink etiquette? Yes, it's very important. Or is there one family member in your vehicle that likes to open the door with their foot, giving no care at all to the vehicle next to them or your door. So if that person is instructed to leave the vehicle last because they have no clue, since you have to get out, monitor their door opening capabilities to make sure they don't hit the car next to them and you don't get sued. So if you have extraordinarily high standards as to where you park your car in any given make a parking lot, then you are part of the Motor Mouth Radio on a Group of the Hour.
Very nice. Good. Take a breath now.
Yes.
All right, stick with us while we take do a little promo here. Spend a little money on pay some bills and do some stuff. And we'll be right back with more Motor Mouth Radio with Ray and Chris on 90.3 WHPC. Get out the surfboard.
Back with answers to your car questions. Give us a call at 516-572-7440. Oh, I should have said the Motor Mouth thing.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limbrook and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar Lifetime Nationwide Warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
You're listening to the Motor Mouth.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Attention in the pits and other parts of your body.
Shalom.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Ray.
Not rap too time, but boy, I love him. Motor Mouth.
You don't ask me to come on the show. You don't ask me to pose naked.
I just hate cars, I hate motorcycles, and I hate people who drive, use them, or talk about them.
Chris and Ray have been replaced today.
Hi, guys. Always good to talk with you, too.
Motor Mouth.
You get the kooks that listen to this radio show.
It's always fun coming here.
I didn't want to break the flow of the show. You know, you guys are on PMN now, man. You know, you guys are the voice of Long Island.
Motor Mouth.
It's always a pleasure, and I enjoy the show.
Hi, I wanted to know if you could fix my car.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
What do you know about ceiling fans? Mine makes a lot of noise.
You're interrupting me. What is going on here?
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
Those guys are nuts.
It's nice to talk to somebody that obviously really enjoys what they do.
Yeah, I want to know what is wrong with my car.
I've just had a automotive week. It's just been crazy.
When I called, the first thing I heard you say was, I'm going to answer this question intelligently, and I said, whoops, I got the wrong number.
Motor Mouth.
Well, there was a time in your life when you spent a lot more time under your car.
Thank you, both of you. I appreciate it so much. It was a great opportunity, and it was really a pleasure to talk with you guys.
No problem. Now you have time to change your email address and phone numbers.
First thing I'm going to do, if the company hadn't already done it.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
Motor Mouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
Motor Mouth.
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
And of course, we get taken out by the wise words of Chassis John. He was right. You might learn something. You might learn you want to listen to a gardening show next week, but at least you learned something.
You may learn something from some obscure gardening show that may replace us. That's
very,
true.
very true.
You never know.
No, you don't. How could you?
You never know.
How could you know? So
right.
Yeah, so you want to tell us about a batteria, I see, huh?
Yeah. Just last week, I swapped out the battery on the Mazda, and I do it usually every 4 to 5 years, whether it needs it or not.
Right.
Car's still starting, battery's 5 years old, just change it. I always feel that batteries in newer cars, and yeah, I could still say a 10-year-old car is a newer car, have a lot more responsibility than they did in the old days where all they did was, keep the lights on and start the car. But I found that I had a problem with the clock. With the old battery, the clock would be like 7 minutes slow. Then it was like 8 minutes. Then it was like 15 minutes slow. And it was always not keeping accurate time. And I'm thinking, I got to swap the clock out of this thing. It's just going to be incredible because it's so incorporated into the dash that I just left it alone. Well, when I swapped the battery out last week, reset the clock, it's been keeping perfect time since the battery was swapped out. And I'm like, so did the battery, did an average regular car battery affect the running of a digital clock? And I'd say yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's an oddball one I haven't heard before.
Yeah, totally out of left field. I didn't expect the cause and effect.
Right.
Didn't expect it at all. I just wanted to swap out the battery because I just wanted to keep the car reliable. That's really it. And here's that little side benefit.
Yeah.
That and mind you, talk about batteries for 1 second. I always thought my mother-in-law had the oldest battery. She went the longest duration between battery changes. She had a battery for 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, she kept it for 9 years in a car that she used on a regular basis. That record in my world has been beaten by my cousin Pat, who just changed the battery in the MG after 11 years.
You know, I may have been close to that or beaten him too back in the day. And again, I think the key here is older cars.
Right.
Because like I told you, back in the 70s into the 80s, my good friend Gerard, he worked at a tire shop, and they used to sell a lot of batteries. And what they did is they always had two special piles. One pile were the tires of the cars they took off that were still good enough to use and could be resold, and the batteries, because guys will come in, I got a 36-month battery, I'm in the 35th month, I needed to change it. And those are the ones that I would get, put in my car, and drive for another 5-6 years. Let's go to the phones and go to the fun and say, hi, caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Gentlemen, happy madness.
What's going on, Bob? How are you?
Robert.
Oh, you guys are really kicking it tonight, man.
Christian, not Robert.
Oh, it's Christian. Holy smokes, you sound like Robert.
No, this is Bob from Aqua Center.
Oh, Bob, you sound like Christian.
Usually it's Ray that knows the voices, not me.
Got us both, yeah.
Wow.
You do sound like Christian.
Yeah. What's happening?
What's up?
So a couple of things. Is this Cars and Coffee with Rob Leonard playing Aerosmith?
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so, Rob is like the Undertaker. I expect him to tell me one of them died.
Let me tell you something. That set for Aerosmith was pretty decent. So I got an Aerosmith car story for you.
Oh,
all right.
So I'm on the canal. I'm working a restaurant. Styx comes in. The staff asked me, "Do you know Styx?" Yeah, I know Styx.
Right.
And they came in, and after they're eating, I had the cars all lined up, take care of them. I said, "Hey, you guys are playing tomorrow night over at the Coliseum." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, you with Aerosmith?" The guy goes, "You going?" I go, "No, you guys have been sold out for weeks," and they were.
Yeah.
Guy goes, "Here's my phone number." He goes, "Call me." Give him a call over at the old, was that a Holiday Inn in Hempstead over there?
Oh, okay.
I call him, takes my call, and he gives me two seats and 2 backstage passes. And the car part is, I needed to put a radio in the car because the radio had fizzled out of the Camaro. I had a 69 Camaro.
Right.
So we were able to get the radio in the car, play Aerosmith on the way over to Nassau Coliseum, and then we're backstage, and Steven Tyler, as I'm watching Styx, Steven Tyler comes up from behind me. I didn't notice at the time, and he puts his elbow on my shoulder, and for an entire Styx song, he's leaning on me.
Wow,
that's a true story. So we take the car, Aerosmith. And that's my car and story.
You know, you could throw in Bill Withers too. You got a Bill Withers moment there with Steven Tyler. So lean on me. It's he
was leaning on you just to stay awake. I'm sure.
Wow, that's good, Bob. That's pretty cool. Good story.
That's cool.
My friend Mike helped me put the radio in. I had a problem with the ground in that for some reason, but he was pretty decent with the audio.
Yeah.
I had a solution for the smell of the urine under the cap for the seatbelt. A rodent won't poop and pee in the same place. They poop in one place and they pee in another. So underneath that cap was rat urine. Use a 409 form carpet cleaner, spray it in there. You can get it at Odd Lot, and that will take the urine smell right out.
Oh, good.
That's funny, Bob, because that's actually what I did use. I used a lot of carpet spot cleaner that I had on hand. I was grabbing anything to do it, but that was a primary. So I'm glad I was in the right direction. Thank you for bringing that up. 409 carpet cleaner. Yeah, that'll
you know, it's the white can with the purple lettering. It's only $3.
Yeah.
That stuff works great. And another quote from Pulp Fiction: "Zeb is dead."
That's
Zed's
right.
dead, man.
That's that's what I led off with last week.
Yeah, Zed's dead.
It was Zed. Who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby.
Zed's dead.
Oh, what is this motorcycle? It's not a motorcycle. Oh, what is it? It's a chopper. Chopper, baby.
Chopper.
Oh, whose chopper is this? Zed's. Who is Zed? No, Zed's dead, baby. I could have just played the original and it would have sounded a lot better, but what the heck.
Right.
Like a can of tuna.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks,
guys,
Bob.
Have a great week.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
You too. Thanks for the story.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. So
Awesome.
tomorrow I have the fun. I'm going to a fellow's man cave garage, and I am installing an ignition system in a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner.
Oh, wow.
That is apparently pristine and beautiful. It's a 383 4-speed car. And, I'm going to swap the distributor, the box, the ballast resistor, all of that. I'm going to do that in the morning. And then I'm going to try and slide over to the shop and disassemble the 442 because we got go-ahead from the owner to pull the heads and send them out. We're going to send them to the guy by my house, the machine shop.
Good idea.
And have them gone through, and then, we'll start the putting back together process. So a lot of car stuff going on in the immediate future.
Very, very cool. I've actually just been using the Chrysler. That's all I've been doing. I've come to realize that my family does not want to bother with the car. So I'm like, you okay?
No, you should take it out. You should. Yeah.
So taking it out more and more and just driving it around.
But just to back up, I wanted to finish on that battery story. That was the stuff they had this pile of batteries and back that's when you had like the Freedom batteries and the Delcos with the red, white, and blue batteries and the diehards. Sure. And I remember John telling me there was a one guy, like I said, an old Italian guy came in and it was like almost to the month the battery was, that's what it said, so he wanted a new one. And he did this every 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I swear I probably got 8 to 10 years out of those batteries. But my Mazda, when I had my Mazda 3, at one point, before I sold the car, and I had it for 15 years, right. I said, damn, I need a battery again. And I was using Interstate. So I had a little trouble with Interstates. And I thought I was blaming the battery. But I went back in my book. I keep my records in.
The world's most dangerous notebook?
Well, that's for this show. Not the records I played, the records for the car, the stuff. And I looked back, and I actually highlighted every time I changed the battery, and I always bought 5-year batteries. And would you know, when I looked at the dates, every one was 5 years to within a month that the batteries failed. It was like clockwork.
Wow.
And that's in a car that was used daily, so never really sat for protracted periods, wasn't really stressed or strained, wasn't overloaded or anything. And those 5-year batteries, I got 5 years like every single time.
And it was funny because in the old days with older cars, you always got the clue. You always got the warning. You'd hear the car go, rrr, 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 and you knew that when you heard that, like your ears would perk right up, go, oh, need a new battery.
Right.
New cars don't do that anymore. It works, and then it doesn't.
I know. Let's see if this works. Let's see if the phones work, and we can say, hi, caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, how you doing, Ray? How you doing, Chris? It's Steve West.
What's up, Steve? How are you?
Steve.
Oh, great. How you doing? Yeah, I just heard that you'd taken a couple of heads over to the machine shop. I just want to give a shout out to Calvin Motors. Okay, so I think you should, give them a shout out. I just got my heads back from them. Okay, did a great job. Jimmy's really professional, and the thing is, believe it or not, those machine shops are becoming few and far between.
Sure.
So it's great to have them local. Okay, and I just wanted to say thanks. You gave me the tip of them because I didn't know where to take. I said, "Where's there a machine shop today? They're all gone."
Right.
Yeah, and you gave me the tip to go to Calvin Motors, and they were fantastic.
I'll tell you what happened when it came time to decide this. Now I spoke with Mike, the boss, and I said, "Listen, Bobby from the Olds Club gave me a couple of guys that are out east, guys Christian knows." And I told Mike, we'd sent his heads for his Chevelle out to Lab, which is an older machine shop that's been around a long time. I said, and there's Colvin. I said, so I left it up to him. I said, just tell me what you want to do, and I'll just do whatever you want me to do. So Mike had said, hey, I think maybe we should use Colvin. And I said, you know what? That's what I would have recommended because they're close, they're local. I can walk them in, I can pick them up, and the price was pretty good. Jimmy's going to work with me. He's good that way. And,
I was very satisfied. And fantastic. It's an old school auto parts store.
And you know what?
So he got me the gaskets, he got me the bolts, he got me everything I needed to do the job, and it went off without a hitch. Those guys were great.
I'll tell you another story about that since you brought it up. I brought that if you look up the horn relay for my car, it shows a relay with like one spade turbo and two studs and nuts. That's not the horn relay for my car. I got two plugs under the bottom. One has two wires, one has one. So I went to Colvin and I told him I brought the relay in with me. I said, I need one of these.
It's good.
Yeah.
It was a good idea.
I knew it.
With you.
And the guy, and I said, you're going to pull up a picture that's wrong. And he goes, what? I'm like, look, I've gone through this already. And he says, yeah, it's got a stud. It's got two studs. I said, that's the wrong picture. I said, this is the relay right here. This came out of my car. What kind of car? I told him the car. So he said, I told him, I said, somewhere along the line, somebody just input the wrong picture in the database, and now everybody's got that picture because they share databases. So what he did is he goes, let me give this to Dwayne. Dwayne is the owner of the parts store, and he was in the back. He goes, let me give this to him. And he came back out with a standard motor box and the, what was it, DH-142, I think. He goes, yeah, Dwayne knew what it was, and sure enough, there was the one in the box. I'm like, right, because he's an old school guy. He remembers.
Right.
So the databases today have gotten, I want to use the word corrupted, but not maliciously maybe, just by people inputting the wrong pictures or the wrong... Right. And now if someone would have given you that part and said, hey, this is what the book said, and been a hard-nose about it, you're going to go home and say, well, how do I put this in my car? Was my car changed? That wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. It's so funny, Steve, because the way things are nowadays, cars aren't supposed to last 50
No, not at all.
So, it's funny how we've gotten as far as we've come with being as precise with part swaps as we are.
Yeah,
because they weren't supposed to last this long.
Yeah. I can. Back in the day, you look forward to going into the parts store. Today, when I pull into an AutoZone parking lot, number one, I get a knot in my stomach. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have a mano a mano with this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna go in there. You can't understand his accent. Well, let's not get into that. But and you can't communicate with them. When you walk into Calvin, you get that feeling. That secure feeling, like these guys are going to help me. And you walk in there, and it has that greasy smell. It has a guard cat to catch rats.
That's right.
It's fantastic. So as soon as I walked in there, I said, I'm back in the 70s. Here it is.
Right.
Right.
All right.
And so that's it. So Calvin Motors, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. We had to let Steve go. We had another caller. Caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, it's Pat in Connecticut. How are you?
Hey, Pat. Steve, I'm sorry. I thought I was putting Pat in queue, and I actually disconnected Steve. Steve, I apologize for that. That wasn't intentional. How are you, Pat?
Well, you can hang up on me like you normally do anyway.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. What's up, Pat?
Hey, Holley electronic fuel injection terminator. Been having issues with that on a 67 Corvette big block.
You didn't get rid of that thing yet? Jeez, it's been weeks, I guess.
Yeah, we can sell it for best offer. That's no problem. So at any rate, we think it's heat related.
Okay.
Essentially, you go for a ride for 10 minutes. You get out of the car, you go inside, you get your milk, eggs, and butter, you come out, and it'll start, but it won't keep running.
Okay.
Called Holly a couple of times.
Okay.
Two guys, two different theories, two different answers. So at any rate, yesterday I was working with a guy, and he said, "Man, the brain, by the way, is mounted in the engine compartment on the passenger side next to the battery."
Oh, yours is separate.
It's hotter than a firecracker.
Yeah, sure.
Hotter than a firecracker. He actually sprayed it with Freon after we came back from a ride.
There you go.
And it started every time.
So reposition it, move it somewhere else.
Going in the engine, going in the passenger compartment. Didn't know if anybody else had that same kind of problem.
You know, a lot of people do that. Like with race cars, they'll put the MSD box and the coil inside the passenger compartment and run the wires through the firewall. So it's very common. It is very common in that world, Pat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
do it. Sure.
Any rate, I wanted to share that. We're going to remote mount it to the passenger compartment. I'll come back to you next week.
Hopefully you have enough room, enough cabling
Cable's
to do
the big
that.
thing. Yeah, is the cable long enough? That's the big thing.
Now, the thing to do is you can call Hallie, ask if there's a cable extender. Here we go with extenders again, right?
Yes, the extender show.
Both you guys should get together and get a pair of extenders, and you'll both be happy.
We'll all be smiling.
Yeah.
We're still talking about fuel injection, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot. I don't know. You let us know. I don't know. You the call.
You're running the show, Pat.
The call dictates the show. We don't know. Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good day. See ya.
Thanks, Pat. Bye bye.
Adios.
Thanks, Pat.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that he found that out. And you know what?
Yeah.
And especially that's great. If that's why the guy sold the car, ka-ching.
You know what? That would be a perfect ending to the story.
Pat should call the guy back and say, "Hey, remember that load you sold me that was a wooden drive after you took it to town? Yeah, I got to tell you now, problem solved. Really, what was it? Click.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry.
Oops.
Yeah.
That when I spoke to Pat earlier this week and he had mentioned it, I was like, oh, that can totally be the case.
Yeah.
Is that thing? You don't need heat and technology. Do not go together.
No.
Especially something like that.
And that's why for years I haven't done it yet, and I have 2 chalk outlines on my fender wells in my Pontiac that are oval shaped, about 6-8 inches long. And people
that's
say,
where
"Hey,"
the mouse died.
They say, "Yeah, right. That's the chalk outline." They said, "What are those?" And I said, "You know what? I'm still thinking about putting vents in there to vent engine heat." I read an article in a magazine. A guy had a Pontiac Tempest with a 389 in it, an early Tempest, and he was having
a smaller one.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And he was having high engine heat temperatures, giving him ignition problems, whatnot, fuel problems.
Right.
Dealing with my friend right now, Bob, has a second-gen Camaro. He's having high heat fuel problems, low hood, big engine. So what this guy did is he did it scientifically. He took threads, like they do with wind tunnel testing, and taped pieces of thread in all these different places under the hood and put a couple of webcams in there and went for a drive. And he saw how the thread would flow.
Oh, the airflow.
Yeah. So he got
using the thread to like show the flow of the air. Oh,
yes.
Cool.
And he determined that if he vented his fender wells, he could extract that heat. That's why Trans Ams have those scoops on the side. That's to extract engine heat.
Mm-hmm.
People thought it was for brake cooling, but it's not. It was actually to extract engine heat. So he did that. He did this exact thing. So I didn't make this up. I saw it in the magazine. But what he did is what I want to do. He bought what's called a dimple die punch, and it's a round punch. And you'll look it up after extender, and you'll see it's a round punch, but instead a Greenlee punch will make a perfect circular hole, and then you could put for cabling or whatever, or rectangular or whichever punch you have. But the dimple die punch, as it makes that hole, it doesn't cut it cleanly. It rolls the top edge of it over.
Oh, cool.
So now you have a smooth rolled transition, which is really nice. But the problem is, you can buy a dimple die punch in a specific size for like $40. Well, then you get a set of 4 of them for like, $100 and something, or a set of it. So I never could commit to which one I want to buy. So
So you're going to punch a hole in the inside of the fender well. You're not going to.
On
It's not
top,
going to affect the body.
No, inside, right, inside, like 4 holes.
Okay.
So you know what? Let's end here. I want to play this clip from Chassis John as we end, and then we'll come back and we'll end the show. Let me do this right here. Let's play this from. This was from Playing in Traffic, but
John, what do we always say? What do you always say that Chris always says that now?
Don't even think of following us home unless you've got funny bones with you.
Funny bones.
Funny bones. And ice cold milk.
There we go.
Or I'll take Reese's peanut butter cups.
That's good.
And since Easter just passed, if you still have a chocolate bunny,
I got a white chocolate bunny.
Solid though, not the hollow, the cheap hollow ones. It's got to be solid.
I got some leftover cookies.
This just kind of went into Easter, so I'll fade this down here and play our music here, and let us get out of here so Kim can come in and do Thunder Road, Best of Springsteen. Kim, what do you say that John said that he said you always said to me about people out in the parking lot?
Don't follow us home unless you have an extender for your dimple punch.
Exactly. And remember our friend Chassis John today as we do. So, all right, we're back next week. Motormouth Radio, Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer, over and out on 90.3 WHPC. See ya.
See you, bye. Thank you both for listening.